Hey guys, how are we doing? Yes, we are on here live. How is everybody doing so far? Good. Absolutely. Hey. Yes, guys, this is the Eli Show. Okay, and so today I am going to title this Do Not Complain. Now, why do I title it like that? Why do I title it like that? Do not complain. Because a lot of people complain, but they don't want to do anything about it. Okay? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So, lately, I've been getting a lot of complaints on Facebook. People complaining about rich people buying properties and overcharging on properties. Listen, if you think you can do it better, then you should go ahead and join in it. Don't sit there and complain about what other people do, but you don't do it. I hate that. It's like you get a quarterback on a football team. You get a quarterback on a football team. He's not that good of a quarterback, but instead of you taking his spot and showing up for practice, what you do is you decide to complain about it. You know, if you think you're a better football player, then you should go play out for that team. You should go try out for that team. Don't complain about a quarterback being awful and then you don't try out for it. See, that's not right and that's not fair. Okay? So today we're going to title this Do Not Complain Unless You Can Do It Better. In the real estate game, you have a lot of wealthy people who buy real estate, right? There are people who are complaining because they're like, well, how come they're buying up property? No, they're not buying up property. You can buy it too. It's just that you choose not to. Instead, you want to complain about what they do instead of you doing what they do. You go get a contract, go up to these properties that you would love to buy, and buy yourself a property. Don't complain about how somebody else does it when you're not even doing it. I hate it. I hate it when people do that. I hate that. And so this girl, Lisa, she writes in the comments, Eli, why is it that all these rich people are buying properties? How come I can't do that? Well, see, first of all, Lisa, that's your problem right there. You can buy property. You just don't want to. Nothing is stopping you from buying a property. You just don't want to because you feel like you could just sit back and complain. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. I was walking in the projects and I see all these houses boarded up. And in Michigan, if you go to Michigan State, all these houses are boarded up, right? And I'm sitting there saying to myself, all these houses are boarded up in Michigan, and not just in Michigan, in Chicago, Wyoming, Cleveland, Ohio, all these places where you got a lot of black people living, right? The places are boarded up, right? And people are not buying them. I'm like, why not? What's wrong with those homes? There's nothing wrong with those homes. People are just not buying them, and then other people come in and buy them, and then there's complaints. Well, see, if you're not going to buy those homes, you shouldn't complain when somebody else buys them. That wouldn't make any sense. If you're not going to buy them, don't complain about somebody else buying them if you're not going to go and buy them. You should go buy the home that you are wanting to buy and stop complaining about it. Because too many times I see nothing but complainers, a bunch of whiners, people whining about how they can never do this, how they can never do that. Guys, you can buy a home just like everybody else does. Get yourself a contract, get yourself a deed, a land deed or a contract or a will or something, and go get yourself a home. You know, because you can't sit back and complain no more about you not being able to buy a home. You can, you just don't want to. You're just like most lazy people. You rather complain than do something about it. Well, that's not okay. Complaining gets us nowhere. Okay? So I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about this ideal that people are complaining on not being able to find a nice home. Listen, you need to go to a used home to find a nice home. Okay? Because a lot of people are complaining about not being able to find a home. No, get yourself a contract and get yourself a home. It's just that simple. Get yourself a contract and let's go find yourself a home. Or find yourself a land deed and let's go find you a home. Okay? So then I want to transition to something else. While we're on the topic, I'm going to transition into something else. Okay? And it's these so-called protesters. These protesters, okay? Let me just say this. A lot of you protesters, let me just say this. Do me a favor. If you're going to protest like that, make sure you're protesting the right thing. Because a lot of you guys are off message. You're off message in your protest. So you guys are over there protesting the real estate agents and the banks. Stop that. Stop that. What you do, if you really want to protest, you need to protest how you guys keep raising these minimum wages and how wages keep going up and how prices keep going up. Protest that. Protest that. You want to complain about something? Let's complain about that. You guys are protesting the wrong thing. Okay? Because believe it or not, I don't care how many rich people living on this planet, they are not going to buy up all the properties just like that. They are not going to just buy up all the properties just like that. Okay? You can buy a property too. You just don't want to. Instead, you want to complain about how they're buying property instead of you getting off your high horse and buying your own property. Okay? And then this one lady, she keeps on complaining about how the rent goes up and how her mortgage keeps going up. Lady, let me just tell you this. Instead of complaining about that, you could do something about that. Buy your own home. Buy your own home. Why are you complaining when the landlord raises the rent and raises the mortgage? You're complaining about it, but your refusal to buy another home, I don't get that. You can buy a used property. A fix up, you know? Get a nice used home and fix it up. Yeah, that's what it's called, a fix up. Buy a nice used home and fix it up. Why are you complaining about them raising the rent when you know that's what they're going to do anyways? There's no value in complaining about that if you're not going to do anything about that. Also this, okay? Also this. You guys need to quit complaining about not being able to build your own home. That's not true either. Places are selling up. You can get yourself a used home, an old used home, and just focus on that. But see, these silly protests does nobody good because the real estate agents, the reason why they keep raising their prices is because that's the price they want you to pay in order for you to have a brand new home. Okay? If you don't want to pay that, go get a used home. You can go to Zillow, Craigslist, eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, Zillow. There's all kinds of places where you can buy a nice used home. You don't have to buy a brand new home. Okay? And so now that we got that topic tackled and we got it out of the way, I want to mention something here too. About those protesters, there's a difference between a real protest and a phony one. Let me say it again. There's a difference between a real protest and a phony one. Let me explain. If the protest that you notice, if you notice somebody protesting for cheaper homes, but at the same time they're arguing for higher wages, that right there is a phony protest. Okay? If they're asking the rent to go down for cheaper homes, but they're protesting for higher wages, that right there is a phony baloney protest. Your protest only has merit when it makes sense. The protest only has merit when it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, if you're just protesting just to hear yourself protest, then your protest is not valid. And therefore, it doesn't make sense. If you're going to protest something, you need to protest something that makes sense. Complaining about nonsense when you have not taken the time to invest in yourself, to even look into yourself, to even try to further yourself or help your agenda out, is pointless. Too many times I see people complaining about things, and half the time they're not quite sure what they're complaining about. Half the time they are talking about something that they can fix, but they because they're going about it the wrong way, they take up and protest. No. So a lady asked me today, why are the housing markets going up? And I said, easy, because you people are not buying used homes, and you're not negotiating, and you're not getting contracts. You cannot complain about something and then you not get involved in it. If the real estate agents are always involved and you're not, then you cannot complain when things don't go your way. You can't do that. You have to first get involved before you go out and complain about something. Okay? You cannot complain about somebody else making money and then you yourself don't get involved. That's lazy. That's laziness. This afternoon I ran into a guy. He was complaining because he wasn't making enough money, and how he was complaining about how he wasn't making enough money and how he's stuck at a dead-end job. Sir, that is your fault. Okay? You could have furthered your education, but you chose not to. You wanted a safe space. You wanted a safe space. You wanted a safety net. You didn't want to go out and expand. You didn't want to go out and take chances. You didn't want to go out and further your agenda. So when you cannot afford something, it's not because you're not getting paid enough. It's because you're not expand enough. But what you guys got to stop doing, the takeaway from this is what you guys got to stop doing is you got to stop complaining about things when you're not getting involved. Okay? I had this one black guy. He was complaining because the landlord kept raising the rent and raising the rent and raising his mortgage. Okay. So I asked him, how are you getting involved? Are you getting into real estate? He said no. Are you buying property? He said no. Are you getting involved in contracts in real estate? He said no. I said, sir, what are you complaining about? If you guys don't get involved, don't complain. Because everybody complains about rich people buying properties and how rich people are buying up properties and how only the rich can afford properties. But you guys need to get involved in real estate instead of trying to complain about them. If you're not getting involved, you lose the right to complain. It's like piggybacking on the quarterback. The quarterback. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those of you who play football or had played football, you know what I'm talking about, right? You complain when the quarterback makes the wrong throw, or if the quarterback throws too many picks, or he throws too many interceptions. You're willing to complain about that. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried playing quarterback? No, seriously, think about the question. Have you tried out for the football team? Were you at football practice trying out for the quarterback position? Did you go out to spring practice or summer practice? Did you try out? Don't sit up there complaining about how bad the quarterback is if you yourself have not tried out for that position. See, a lot of you guys want to complain, but you don't want to take action upon yourself to go out there and make something happen. You just want to complain. You do it a lot in real estate as well. In real estate, there's a lot of complainers. People who are upset because rich people are buying up homes. Rich people are owning homes. You know what? You could own a home too, but you just rather sit there and complain about it. If you're not going to take the time to do anything, then you shouldn't complain about it. You shouldn't open your mouth and say how much you hate this, how much you hate that. No, you deal with it until you do something about it. And if the housing market is too expensive, it's because you keep asking for higher wages. So when you ask for higher wages, the prices go up. So don't complain about prices going up when you're the main one asking for higher prices. That's not okay. Another thing too is you guys got to start being honest about what you have. So many of you look down on other people for buying used homes. Why are you looking down on other people for buying used home? If a person buys a used home, that's because that's what he's able to afford. Why are you looking down on that person? Why are you talking down on that person? If he buys a used home, maybe because that's what he can afford. Why are you talking down on him? Why are you trying to make him feel bad? Instead of looking at you and understanding that you as an individual, you can also go buy a home, but you're trying to make him feel bad. I hate complainers. People complaining and protesting, I'm not a huge fan of that. And there's so many people who are protesting the real estate investors when here's the reality is those real estate investors, they're just investing in homes. You too should invest in homes. You guys got to stop complaining about silly things and actually look at the big picture. You need to stop protesting stupid things. You know, because I see all these protesters, they're against banks not giving them loans and real estate agents not selling to them. Well, then you need to create your own so you can buy your own, so you don't have to go to them. If you're not willing to do that, then you guys got to stop complaining about things. This is Eli West. Thank you for listening. If you like more content like this, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also, you can see me on Facebook. Go on Facebook and watch some of my videos. I upload every week on Facebook. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.